The streetlights had learned to lie. At first I blamed failing bulbs, municipal thrift, the kind of lazy decay that creeps into a town and tells itself it's only practical. But the light did not flicker. It trembled like breath against a glass throat. Halos smeared into edges that smelled faintly of copper and memory. Trees across the avenue leaned away from some invisible thing, their branches forming a deliberate, shivering fence. Something about the evening insisted on being wrong in a precise, patient way. Small signs arrived like punctuation, each one a quiet insistence. A radial groove in the soil outside my kitchen window that did not belong to any wheel. Conversations in the supermarket that stopped the instant I entered and resumed a half-beat later with different words, as if the sentence had been edited midstream. My cat refusing a favored dish, sitting like an accusation with pupils blown wide as coins. I began to collect them the way some people collect stones, cataloging minor impossibilities, arranging evidence until the pattern read like inevitable grammar. The revelations were never violent. They presented themselves as arithmetic. Clocks surrendered minutes, then hours. Decimals slurring into unfamiliar sums. Radio static resolved into intervals that matched the cadence of my own heart. Places on maps shimmered into new coordinates if I stood long enough, edges wavering until the cartography accepted another version. Footprints in the frost at dawn described spirals no human ankle could betray. At night, a thin sound came from nowhere, neither wind nor engine, an alignment of tones that felt like counting, and when I tried to name it, I heard my own voice returned with syllables rearranged, unfamiliar punctuation where I'd sworn none belonged. I kept a log, rigid, small entries meant to anchor me, dates, weather, what I'd eaten. The ink began to argue, lines slanted as if written on a slope. Sentences folded into parenthetical thoughts that were clearly not mine. Sleep turned into negotiation. I woke convinced I had been elsewhere, and later found objects in my pockets I did not remember pocketing. Friends laughed at first. Then, when I suggested they listen to the hum under the hum, they thinned and smiled and obliged like people admitting a stranger into the threshold. The night it stopped being patient. The sky opened with geometry. Stars shifted into acute angles that made my skull ache. The moon took on an extra face, a lattice of light at odds with charts. Something vast moved below that lattice, not visible so much as felt, like the world adjusting its spine. It spoke without words in the rhythm my radio had been giving me. The voice was not cruel. It was a comprehension that made me a datum point, a margin to be annotated. I stepped toward the clearing. The shape that awaited was not a thing I could have expected, but the impression of an answer. Layers of glass hung in air, reflections of myself that lagged slightly, and behind them a pressure that asked for small favors. Your memory of a childhood street, a name you once said aloud, the exact map of how you loved someone. I gave what I could. I learned pieces of their counting, and they learned the taste of my fear and habits. In the morning my town hummed on like a satisfied apparatus. I stopped calling them back. They answered anyway.